Hi, Vic here from WildBerry Furniture Makeovers. I'm back again to do another challenge with some Aussie furniture flippers. Their links will be down below, so if you would like to check their videos out too. We're doing a Kmart challenge today. Anything from Kmart, furniture, any sort of craft, and get creative. It is hosted by Diane from PoshUpCycle. And today I have chosen to do the Kmart round stool, kids stool. They're just a plain white little stool with wood legs. Cute stool, but basic. And I thought I would get two of these and pretty them up with the Kmart paint kit, the paint pour kit, I should say. And I'm really happy with the result. Turned out really pretty. I have put a resin coat on the top there. I did want to use the Kmart resin, but it wasn't available at my store or any close by. So I have used a fusion resin top coat, which I hadn't used before, so I was very unsure, but it's turned out really well. I'm really happy with the result. And if you'd like to see how I did this.
Okay, I've got my little tabletop. It's unscrewed, which is great. Using my chalk paint, my white anko chalk paint, I'm just doing a nice fine coat on there. It spreads really easily, and it's obviously hard to see the coverage because it's white, but I can see it obviously because it takes the shine off there. So just one coat and place it to the side for later. Obviously I'm doing two stools, as I said, but I'm just showing you one at a time for this video. With the legs, they were a little bit shiny as well, and you can see where I scuff sanded with the 120 grit. Then I'm just putting the masking tape on there, just eyeballing that. You can tape it, like measure it before you tape off to make sure they're all exact if you like. Excuse my jammies there. And then, yeah, you've got more of an exact, sorry, distracted. But I just eyeballed it and went with that. Really press it down well so that you get nice crisp edges. If you're concerned about your edges, you can always do like a little clear coat around the edge of the tape, and that sort of seals it so you'll get your crisp edge. But I didn't sort of worry about that. And so I'm using the chalk paint again. So with the white, I probably used a little bit too much because I wanted a deep pink. So for this reason, I ended up doing two coats on the legs, whereas with this paint, I actually didn't need to. One coat could have been absolutely perfect, but purely because of the color depth that I wanted, I went back and did a second coat. So leave them to dry overnight. I mean, I could have done the second coat, you know, within an hour or whatever. It was more just that I hadn't done the paint pour, and so I wanted to see how that turned out. So I went back and did another coat a couple of days later and then peeled the tape off and was left with a really beautiful colour. So I just applied it, obviously, again with the flat brush. And, yeah, look at that coverage. It's pretty amazing. Really nice coverage. It's not lumpy. It didn't leave brush strokes. I'm really impressed with it. They've got quite a variety of colours down there. Just your basic blue, green, white, rust. And I'm looking forward to using it on a few other projects because I'm really happy with the coverage there and the consistency of how it looks. So yeah, excellent from Kmart, and it was super cheap. It was like, I can't remember if it's $5 or $7, but it wasn't much more than that. So getting it all painted, leaving them to dry, as I said, overnight. And then I get to do the fun part, which is the paint pour. So I'm just using, from Kmart again, your little pet scoop. I think it was about $2. And then the Anko paint pour kit. They've got a few down there. I think there was a blue set and maybe another kind of pink. This one was just really pretty. I got a rose gold from Mont that I had at home because I couldn't find the rose gold at Kmart. I know they do have one though. And I wanted a bit of pop, a bit of bling in there just to, you know, make it stand out a little bit more, and I'm really glad that I did when you see the effect. So I haven't added any kind of pouring medium or silicone in there, which is what you can do with some acrylic paints to get what they're called cells. So when you see the resin pores, which the paint pores try to mimic, they have like these little sort of aerated, not bubbles as such, but they, you know, almost like dishwashing liquid when you see the bubbles. It's that effect. And if you have a lot of cells, they're called, in your artwork with the pour, you know, it's considered quite effective. So I found with this paint brand, which I was really surprised about, that I got really nice natural cells without adding anything into there. So yeah, go Kmart. It was quite impressive. So I will be using these again and trying them out on the canvas to see how well they go on there. It looks a little bit muddy as I first pour it out, but it's just the angle of the camera. It's like a geode effect that it's created pouring it this way. I really, really like it, doing it with the scoop because of the effect. Once I tilt it, you'll be able to see it a little bit more. You don't need to pour across the whole lot because you do want a little bit of space to tilt. But again, do it how you want to do it. So some people tape the edges just so that they get like a nice crisp edge, and they might paint the edge a different color. But I like this waterfall effect that it gives. It's super messy. Like, oh my God. Wear gloves, have a plastic tray down. It's really messy. But you can see there how nicely that's already forming those patterns. Oh, so pretty. I stuck it up on cups just to level it out and leave it overnight, just so that the drips, and I go around with a little paddle pop stick and just wipe those drips just so that it stays sort of neat underneath, just exactly like that, how I did with my hand. And then I did the other one, and they left them overnight and was ready to do the resin. So I did want to get hold of the Kmart resin, but I couldn't. So I'm using the Fusion, and it's a 1 part. It's just a pouring resin, but I'm still mixing it up, still wearing my PPE, gloves, because it's super sticky, and a mask. These are propped up on the little cups. That is level. It doesn't look it in the video, but I think my video is a little bit tilted. So mixed it up and then just poured it on. So again, you can use your, you can either tilt them like what I did with the paint pour, or you can use the wooden stick to move it around, or you can use a heat torch or a heat lamp. I'm just doing this, it's quite a fine layer, so I'm just doing it with my gloved hands, as you can see. And I went back actually and did 2 more coats. So normally with resin, I probably would only need to do 1 coat, potentially 2 coats if there was like any little gaps once it's settled. Sometimes if you've got it on a tilt, you might find that, you know, there's like a little gap the next day. You do leave it overnight. With this though, I just wasn't sure about it, and I wanted to do 2 more coats just for that extra durability. So do my little torch, blowing out any tiny little air bubbles, so that it's got like a nice glossy even finish. And then the main thing to do is just to keep an eye on it. So I've got it on plastic there to watch the drips, but just with that paddle pop stick, going back overnight, not even overnight, but just checking periodically, and when it's got like little drips, just exactly like that, go along and just scrape them off. It just saves time later. Like if you don't get a chance to do that and you come back in the morning and you've got like hard little set resin underneath, you're obviously going to have to sand that off because it doesn't look nice. And there we go, finished product. It's absolutely gorgeous. I will be doing more of these, and I'm so glad I did the rose gold. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Have a go. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe for more videos, and thank you.